Hi everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Urban legends, missing heaven, hookman coming for you, missing 15 minutes. AJ wrote it, Sammy reads it, Mothman's flying at you, missing 15 minutes.
You're walking down the streets of Tokyo in Japan after dark. It's a packed city, but at this time there's barely anyone outside. The brightness of the shops are gone, and you feel that emptiness. Suddenly a woman approaches you wearing a typical PPE face mask, a common sight in Japan for people with colds or just not wanting to spread germs. Smart. The woman, however, looks at you and asks, "Am I beautiful?"
No.
And you are now a trap of the Kuchisake-Onna. No.
The Kuchisake-Onna, yes.
Oh, I was right?
You
Cool.
were very close, at least.
The Slit-Mouthed Woman. If you answer no, she kills you instantly. If you answer yes, she removes the mask, revealing the reason for her moniker. The woman's mouth is cut wide open from ear to ear. With the muscle and gore exposed, she asked you again, "Am I beautiful?" No matter how you respond, there's nothing to stop her from giving you the same Glasgow smile with a pair of scissors. Of course, that's just the base story. As every urban legend has their own twist, sometimes if you say yes to both without any fear or disgust, she'll leave you alone and move on. Others say that she then comes back and kills you while you sleep. You can also buy time to escape if you tell her that she's only so-so or plain, apparently. So that's really...
I do love that it's literally just, "Am I beautiful?" Eh. And then she's just dumbfounded, staring at you like, "Really?" And then you could just 23 skidoo out of there.
AJ's favorite is apparently that if instead of answering you say you're running late, she'll apologize and go somewhere else.
I do, because I think this actually is a playoff of much of, how polite Japanese people, or how conveniencing Japanese people are. Where it's like, "Oh my god, I'm running late," and she turns around and is like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go kill someone else." And then there's some weird stuff after that.
There's also from the Yokai Survival Guide.
Yokai.
Yokai Survival Guide that says you can throw down candy and she'll stop to pick them up, or by saying pomade? Pomade?
By saying pomade.
Pomade.
Or whatever the Japanese equivalent of pomade is, I assume. Now, I think the picking up thing is actually a Western or an Eastern European thing.
You think it's...
Well, because vampires are actually said to have that same weird OCD, and a lot of other fairy folk, like leprechauns or whatnot. You throw down grains of sand or rice or shoes, they would stop to count and pick up each one. Which is the only reason I think that's from more Western thing, but continue on. And I don't fucking know about the pomade thing, that's just weird.
By saying pomade 3 times, but that book is most definitely more akin to something at a scholastic book fair and less than deep dive onto Onro, or evil spirits?
Onryu. Or Onryu, technically.
Onryu.
But basically, looking at it, it does look like it's something more like your piratology book right here. Or a lot of the, dragonography, where it's a kid's book.
Right.
Or at least it's made in a, kids booky kind of way, which is why I said the scholastic book fair.
Scholastic book fair, that's what I said.
I believe when you listen on the tape, the slurring.
That's true. But of course, while this is a contemporary story, there's always leads to the ghost story of her origin. Supposedly, this legend dates back to the 16th to the 18th century.
16th to 18th centuries.
And she was mutilated by her samurai husband when he returned and found out she was sleeping around while he was away, or that she was cut and killed by a scorned woman because of her beauty. There's one about the botched dental work, but again, that's a bit non sequitur.
Non sequitur.
That's it. If we're going with the threads of the legend.
By the way, she's reading this digitally for the first time. When I didn't handwrite it at all. So every time she messes up, it has nothing to do with my handwriting. I don't have handwriting.
No. This is my learning disability coming in.
But anyways, yes. So there's like so many different ways because it's one of those where you literally have. She was either she was a hoe who got killed by a samurai lover, poor dental surgery, or did you get to the third one?
Cut and killed by a scorned woman.
Oh, the scorned woman.
The samurai husband, or the botched dental work.
See, the scorned woman one is, while it's not the one officially linked to her, like everywhere I've read, they always go with the samurai. I think the scorned woman one makes the most sense, given as a spirit she goes, am I
I'm
beautiful? Versus, and then there's a lot of beauty, there's a lot placed on her beauty.
Right.
So the scorned samurai lover, I don't really get. Outside of, I don't know if I bring it up. I'll continue. We'll see if I have to pull a Sam.
However, the truth is that this story didn't pop up in print until 1979, when it was highlighted in numerous newspapers and magazines. Time for the reason why. Modernization.
You said it.
AJ doesn't believe it's that old, and like many urban legends in the U.S., it tries to backdate itself in familiar stories to have the air of realism. On a previous episode, had the story of the Hookman traveled in the same route, and it has more parallels since while the Hookman is considered conservative propaganda against going out parking, the publications that covered the Slit-Mouthed Woman were also considered conservative leaning, at least in AJ's research, which had been sparse, but I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Research sucks for anything that's not in the U.S. because a lot of Japan, when it comes to like stuff like this, you're still reading it through the lens of a Westerner. For instance, like when it comes to these are conservative leaning. Are they though? In my eyes, they're conservative leaning because they do, lowercase conservative values, not uppercase, racist values. But
yeah.
But is it really conservatism? 1979, they're modernizing, so even having a view of be careful of stranger danger.
Yeah.
That's not really a conservative view, or at least in the U.S., it's considered more of a bipartisan thing.
Mm-hmm.
No one officially wants the kids hurt.
Right.
Unofficially. But, so to me, it looks like they're conservative. But also, most of this isn't digital. Like, even looking at some of the papers, I had to read summaries of what was in the newspaper, or I had to do a Google Translate, which has gotten much better since my, early days of research in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, Google Translate's the bomb.
But I also want to say Wikipedia is fucking dumb on that. I want to bitch about this real quick. I will let you get back into it.
Okay.
Every link to Wikipedia, like that Yokai Survival Guide, was a footnote in Wikipedia, as a fact. 3 of the 4 major sources on that are articles from like Slate, who are just regurgitating the myth. It is podcasts who have covered the myth. None of it is, granted, it is still an urban legend, so a first-hand account is like, well, you can't really do that.
Right.
But there's no real Dear Abbeys, outside of the ones I mentioned from the 70s.
Right.
And those, again, I can't really read or can't find, primary sources on, which annoys me, personally.
I understand.
Continue.
It's a don't walk alone at night morality mixed with the stranger danger that became a pervasive undertone throughout the world since the rise of modern living. But still, it could be the evolution of Oni, O-U-N-I.
Oh, I think, because Oni is an evil spirit, a specific type of evil spirit in Japan. An Aoni, I think is what it's actually called.
Okay. Or the Wua?
Wawa? Wawa is all I don't know how to... I think it's Wawa.
Wawa, which is a demon-faced spirit from the 18th century, given a modern update with a face mask, and then given a beauty allegory for the then modern mindset.
That's honestly the one I truly think it is that it's taking a previous yokai, or onryu, and then modernizing it in a very simple way. But that's also where spirit in Japan is a bit different than spirit in America.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to see where that could easily evolve into it versus in America where we were just called the same damn thing.
Makes sense. Regardless of the origins, it's a cultural staple in fiction and folklore. Like a considerable amount of horror films like Carved and Carved 2, though I actually don't know if those are just translation sequels. QAJ's minor explanation on translation sequels.
A translation sequel is a movie that is not actually a sequel or linked to anything at all, but when they get imported to the US or wherever, they'll have a name that's similar to a film that's out. So, like, there's actually an Italian-made Terminator 2, which isn't actually Terminator 2. It has nothing to do with the Terminator franchise. But because it was an import, the importer named it Terminator 2 just to play off the name of Terminator.
Makes sense.
Or this is a minor deep cut for every horror person. There's a film franchise called Zombie.
All right.
There are like 64 known unofficial zombie movies solely because originally it was made in Italian. Then it was imported everywhere else. And then so many other films would be like Zombie 6, The Birds, is a film that has nothing to do with zombies. Doesn't even have to do with zombies, the creature zombies. And it's still called that because it just made it so that it was a quick buck. Because this was big in the rental period, not necessarily now.
Okay. Anyways, the fun-looking Suritsu Kaki File Kawasaki.
I don't think it's Kawasaki. I think that was slightly racist there. The Senritsu Kakai Files Kawasugi, file number 1, Operation Capture the Slit-Mouthed Woman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was watching it while reading.
That's what you say. Which is found footage mockumentary that you can watch on YouTube right now. AJ is doing that while writing this episode.
And you know what? It was actually really good. It's a very low budget, but honestly, it works perfectly as a YouTube. In fact, what's funny is several shots of it. I didn't put this in there, but several shots from it is actually perpetually used on like TikTok and Reels and all that as the "oh my god, real ghost girl caught?" question mark that pops up a lot. That makes you go, "Well, that's too good."
Yep. Basically, if you want to get a good idea of how influential, another way to look at Slit-Mouthed Woman is that she's as saturated in Japanese culture as Bloody Mary is to the U.S. Also, just a fun side note, besides being featured in the amazing Dan Da Dan manga,
Dan Da Dan is a phenomenal manga and a phenomenal anime right now.
She's even a lead in a romance manga called Even If You Slit My Mouth. Yep, that's peak culture right there. So he hasn't figured out how to end these yet, so we're going to discuss.
Basically. But I think that was actually the best way to frame it was she's essentially the Japanese Bloody Mary right now. Where she pops up in like any, most any manga or anime that deals with yokai or spirits or ghosts or anything like that. She either makes is referenced or makes an appearance.
Right.
And actually looked up a few pages of the Even When You Slit My Mouth.
Yeah.
It's a very adorable romance manga. And I don't like... Again, peak culture. Because, boy howdy, they know how to... Japanese culture, when it comes to cultural icons like this, or even Oda Nobunaga, who was a real emperor, or a general. I think I might have pissed off some people by calling him an emperor, but he was an emperor, I swear, in Japan. They'll take these cultural icons and just go, what if we add tits to them and put them in a romance? Which, hilariously, America likes doing too.
This is true.
Except... ours was more fanfic related, whereas theirs is official, like...
lore.
Kind of.
Oh, this was nice. There was only one area that I totally couldn't say.
Oh, the Operation Catch the Slit-Mouthed Woman?
Yeah.
I was actually surprised. But, what do you think? Obviously, urban legend.
Total urban legend.
And I lay out, as best as I could, and as best as hopefully you sound... Sorry, you slurred a bit there. To me, while they keep trying to link it to the past, it was like, again, with the hook-mouthed man, no. The big mouth Billy Bass. People say it existed.
Does it sing?
Yes. But where it comes to that is like, do you think, because the difference between the U.S. and Japan, especially when it comes to urban legends, is Japan has a giant well to pull from of like, sort of like when some things in the U.S. try going for Native American.
Yeah.
Like Skinwalker Ranch. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, where it's like, the only reason they're bringing up natives is so that they can have a deeper a longer history.
Right.
Whereas, like with the Slit-Mouthed Woman, it's like, everyone keeps saying, oh, it's based off, she's a ghost, the urban legend started because of this, and it's like, well, no. In fact, when I was doing research, and again, this is me bitching about Wikipedia, no, Wikipedia is not a good primary source, but it is a decent starting point. I will always say that Wikipedia is a good starting point for research, but not a place to research.
Yes. I use other resources. I use Murderpedia, and usually they have the wiki right there. I'm like, all right, we're going to wiki.
On things like this, it sucks because there's no thought put into it.
No.
And of course, it's Wikipedia. Why should there be a giant dissertation on it? But it's almost like there's too much. Okay, it started here, so now we've got 300 years of this. When we don't, we have once Japan hit modernization as a baseline, similar to the U.S.
Right.
You saw a lot more people being wary of big city centers, And that's where you would get things like, hey, there's a fucking yokai that walks around cutting people's, giving an Irish ghost running around because Glasgow smile.
Exactly.
I thought that was funny. But that's essentially it. Is like, it came from the late 70s, early 80s.
All right.
It proliferated in the same stranger danger sense as right now, if I said, hey, there's a dude in a trench coat who wants to give you candy.
Is it racist?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with them.
No, you don't go with them.
Oh, right.
Show me the candy first. Not dumb. But anyways, so honestly, I actually really like the Slit-Mouthed Woman.
No, yeah, she seems cool.
We've got some more interesting ones coming up, though, that really add, and I think this is going to be a bonus episode after we're done with the first list, just to talk about the prolific nature of women ghosts.
Yeah, it seems like women are always the ones doing the haunting.
Now, I mean, you got demonic entities, too, like the Amityville, I wish I could remember its name. There was a giant pig. But,
yeah.
You have a lot of, when it's a demonic haunting, it's generally male.
Yes.
If it's a spirit, it's a woman. Now, in Japan, I think that's just because the depictions would be that in vengeful men, in life, men could be vengeful versus women who had to bottle that shit up. Right. I think that might be a bit of misogyny on, and I could even be thinking about it incorrectly. But, no, it's because we also have Madame Koi Koi. We also have Bloody Mary, who may or may not appear.
Oh, she's going to show up at some point. Excuse me.
Yes, she is, but I think she's going to be more like how, for Killing, we're waiting to do, big things.
We'll do it.
We'll do it first year, or second year anniversary.
Yeah.
If I ever get the drawing tablet so I can do the cover art for this shit. But anyways, any final thoughts you'd like to say?
No, I thought it's straightforward. It's an urban legend. Could it be true? Sure. But it sounds more like a friend of a friend. So, you know what I mean?
I certainly do.
All right, let's close this out. I'm Sam Rossi.
And I'm AJ Carey.
Later, y'all.
Keep watching the skis.
Living 15.
Keep on carrying on.
CARE.
Right.
Because
CareyOn Production.